Hey, this is Scott Brackett, head baseball coach at Gadsden High School. You're listening to Average Joe Sports Talk. Scott Brackett, head baseball coach, Gadsden High School.
All right, Coach. I guess we can say welcome home.
Excited, it's good to be home.
You spent the last several years at Oxford coaching football and baseball. What led you to come back here to Gadsden City?
Home.
Home.
You know, it's cliche to say this, but when mama calls, you come home.
Right.
But that's, that's it, it's home.
Okay. All right. While you were at Oxford, you were a part of a couple of state championships, one in football and one in baseball. Do you plan on bringing some of the things you did at Oxford up here to Gadsden City?
100%. We won the state football championship 2 years ago. We haven't won a baseball one since 2012, but
Okay.
we'll look. If some Oxford parents come, they're gonna go, "Ooh, I think we're watching Oxford." Just how we run the bases, how aggressive we're going to be, our mentality offensively, our mentality pitching. We're going to be tough mentally. And we're going to throw the baseball. We're going to hit the baseball. We're going to run the bases.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about your career path and how you got to this point. Is coaching something that you dreamed of doing growing up?
Crazy. I always call it my first life. I was an athletic trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I started out at Jackson State, and I moved to Auburn, and was at Auburn for quite a while in athletic training. And I moved, and I worked at Houston Orthopedic Clinic, and I started coaching baseball in 1993 from an ex-Auburn player. His name was Tim Drinker. He wanted some help coaching his son's baseball team, and in 1993, that's kind of when I guess the fire was lit to coach baseball.
Okay. All right, good deal. Is that? So you answered my next question. I was going to ask, how do you get into coaching? Well, during your coaching career, who was someone that you admired or looked up to, like, say, hey, I want to kind of be like this guy right here?
There's a couple. Obviously, my head baseball coach in high school, Rick Arthur at Gadsden High. There's a little bit of him in me still to this day. Bobby Howard, Columbus High School. Mm-hmm. And he was the guy that got me into high school coaching. He's 13 state championships, over 1,000 wins. He's now at Pacelli High School, a Catholic private school in Columbus, Georgia. We talk quite often. He's probably, besides Wes Brooks at Oxford, mm-hmm. Those are my two main influence guys in the game of baseball.
Okay, so you still talk to your old coach?
Coach Brooks?
Yes.
Coach Howard, yes. We talk probably at least once a month.
Okay, good deal. Well, when I called you yesterday on the phone, I could hear the excitement in your voice. Tell us how you felt when you found out you were going to be the head coach here at Gadsden City.
Dream come true. I mean, honestly, and me and Coach Brooks at Oxford, which we talk quite often, and when this opportunity arose, I called him, and we talked a lot about it, and the pros and the cons, and it was, and I told him this. I said, Wes, this honestly, it's the only head job I ever wanted.
Wow. Because you were an assistant here
for a while.
For a while.
For quite a while.
I think you came to Gadsden a couple years after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
So kind of looking ahead, tell us about some of your future plans for the Titan baseball program, like short-term goals and long-term goals.
Short-term goals is getting our guys to buy into our system on beliefs. We have a lot of different. We have what we call absolutes. We have some offensive absolutes. Is what we have to do.
Right.
That's kind of our core values. Instilling our core values. We'll develop a leadership team with our players. We'll have seniors, obviously, will be the main part of the leadership group, and then we'll have underclassmen as part of it as well. We'll develop what we want as our core values as a team, We'll develop a mission statement of how we want this team to be. We'll do a lot of mental focus drills. We'll do a lot of stuff like that. Buying into our offensive system, buying into our base running system, buying into defense. And I told the guys actually Wednesday, I said, we're going to be the best defensive team in the state of Alabama. I don't care about offense right now. We're going to learn to play defense.
Yeah, defense is what wins ball games.
And that's what I told them. You know, in the games I saw, you know, they had a huge win. They had a huge win against the state. They had a huge win against Coleman. And Coleman's Coleman. Coleman's good year in, year out. They contend for it every year. And they beat those guys. And they played a clean game. And that's buying into, we want to. Last night at practice, I told our infielders, and our infield coach got fired up when I said this. I said, I'm telling you this, every game that we play clean in the dirt, with the infield, I will buy your dinner every time after that game.
Wow.
Now, my wife, she ain't going to be happy with that.
You may be buying a lot of dinners.
I hope I'm buying a dinner every game.
Kind of going off that, what are your plans for the middle school program? Are you going to have your hands in building those guys?
Got to. And I think that's kind of, sometimes those guys get lost in the shuffle a lot. And I told the staff Wednesday when we met, Wednesday morning, I said, look guys, I said, at the end of the day, that's our lifeline. And we've got to be around, they've got to see us, and we got to help develop those guys just as much as the middle school coaches do. And I told them, I said, when they're playing and we're not playing, we're in that dugout with those coaches and we're helping teach, we're helping coach those guys. We're going to allow them to coach that thing, but if we see something that they hadn't seen, we're going to help teach in that moment to get those guys better.
Nice. I like that. Kind of speaking again, we're still talking about the future of the program. You kind of walked into to get a new field, on-campus field. Have you had a chance to really talk to the administration about that, and are you going to have any input as far as the design and layout and all that?
Well, I have. They showed me the plans, you know, and actually Teddy Couch asked me, did that factor in my decision about coming here? I said, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is home. But me and Coach Lamberth, we've looked at those plans, but I'll tell you this, I don't have to have any input when it comes to a baseball facility with Todd doing it. Because Todd's got a very good eye of aesthetics and how it should look, because he's a baseball guy too.
Yeah, he is.
So I really, you know, he's asked me some suggestions and things, and we've talked about some things, but I've got 100% confidence that guy's going to be able to doll it up and do good.
Yeah, I talked to him during the spring game, and he showed me the layout and how things were going to be. He seemed pretty fired up about it. So. Oh
man, if it's anything close to those drawings, it's going to be. Besides Chawalaka Park, it's going to be the best baseball facility in Alabama.
That's good. Okay, have you? I know for a while, I don't think Gadsden's had a true youth program. Is that something you're going to look into, kind of going forward?
That's always kind of been the Achilles heel, so to speak. Yes, we are going to try our best. We're going to meet with some people here, because I think right now they're in kind of all-star mode right now. Is trying to get with those guys in July when all that stuff calms down, and let's see how it went. What can we change? How can we make it better? Because at the end of the day, you know, I was talking to some parents. I said, you know, years ago I used to go to all-star tournaments, and I just I'd have my stuff on, but I'd stand off to the side, you know, and just be invisible.
Right.
And I've told our guys, you know, when this all-star stuff starts up, we're going as a team. We're going to go stand there in our tight gear. We're going to cheer these 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids on. Yeah. Generate excitement. Hey, they're here to watch me.
Right.
You know, and that carries some weight.
It does. Okay. Speaking of travel ball, are you a fan of it? I mean, are you going to have your guys participate in it? Because I know some coaches are not a fan of travel ball, and some that say, hey, go play, you know.
Travel ball, I'm laughing because I actually coach travel ball.
Okay.
So, I like it. Mm-hmm. There are good programs in travel ball. There are not so good programs in travel ball.
Right.
And I want my guys playing. I want my guys getting reps. And I told those other night in the meeting, I said, if you're a travel ball guy, just communicate with me. Mm-hmm. Go. Right. Get those reps. Right. I want you to get those reps. games. So I'm a fan of it. There's some negatives about travel ball because sometimes if you don't know the organization and you've got stuff going on with your high school program and there's not a communication, which most our guys play with, I know the programs they're in, and I can call that guy and say, hey, we might be doing something with this guy. Can you throw him earlier in the tournament versus late in the tournament, that type of deal, which we have guys communicate, high school coaches communicate with me. Okay. I've got some kids from Trussville on my team, Spain Park and Briarwood, and I know those coaches, and they'll call and say, hey, I don't want you to throw this guy on the Sunday. Okay. So it's a give and take, and it is. At the end of the day, it is good. It's exposure for them. Right. They get to play with other guys too. They get to see how they approach the game, maybe take some ways they approach the game versus how they do, and change some of the things they do. So it has its advantages.
Okay. I've heard you mention, said you've already met with the team. How did that first meeting go with the guys?
It was awesome. A little emotional. Yeah. I guess because, my dad not being here. Right. That had been special with him. But it was good. It was exciting. We got them fired up a little bit. And, we talked about, getting a new set of uniforms and what we wanted on it, giving them their input, taking that. And then when I told them my vision for that uniform, a lot of them jumped up and down. They got excited. So, and that's what it's about. I told our guys, I said, I don't want you to be walking around here on eggshells. I don't want you to be a robot. I want you to have fun. I don't want you to think when you make an error in a game that your eyes have got to come to this dugout and see if I'm reacting negatively. Right. It happens. It happens in that game. This is a hard game. We're asking you to do the hardest thing in the world instead of moving baseball. Yeah. I mean, that's the toughest thing in the world to do. And there's a lot of failure in this game. And there's a lot of life experiences from this game, just like in the game of football, because probably 80% of this game is failure. Right. And it's how you handle that failure that dictates your success rate. And that's what we're going to preach and teach a lot in this fall.
Gadsden City is probably one of the toughest football and basketball and baseball regions in the state of Alabama. You've got your Oak Mountains, you've got Hewitt, Trussville, Vestavia Hills, Hoover, Spain Park, all those guys contend with. And all those are solid programs in all sports across the board. Do you see that as a positive for the program, playing against those guys, week in and week out throughout the spring?
I do. Yeah, it's murderer's row. It's tough. Mm-hmm. It's an uphill climb with Hewitt, Vestavia, and Spain Park in our area in baseball. Yeah. Quality programs. Hewitt, Coach Baldwin, one of the best high school baseball coaches that ever stepped on the field in the state of Alabama. How he scouts teams is unbelievable. It blows your mind how he does it, how detailed and meticulous he is. There's a lot of times he knows you're about to do something before you know. That's just how good he is. It's a challenge, but if we want to be great, why not? Yeah. And that's our, at the end of the day, that's our goal. We want to be great.
Yeah. Those are the games you want to, I guess you kind of get the guys extra.
Yes, motivated, fired up about it. And I told them too, I said, we're not going to talk about area championships. We're not going to talk about Blue Map State championships. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about developing a championship mentality. Yeah. If we get a championship mentality, all that other stuff takes care of itself.
Nice. I know coming to the games the last couple of years, crowd size has been pretty good. Parents have been here. Yeah. It's very good. And I've been to baseball games at other schools where they have that same parent support and they have that student support. Right. Do you have some kind of plan in place maybe to try to get the student body out to more games and get them involved?
100%. And there was a couple of games this year that I actually got to come to that students were here and they were a little rowdy, and I liked that. Yeah. At Oxford, we had the playoff series this past year at Oxford. We couldn't even hear ourselves thinking of dugout. Wow. Our students were right behind us and they were so loud, it was unbelievable. I mean, hair was standing up on my arm because it just gets you juiced, it gets you over that hump. Yeah, we're going to do that, and that's kind of interesting you said that. Me and Todd actually talked about this the other day with the new field. Mm-hmm. The drive that's in front of the gym right there, that's going to be right field for the new field. And we were talking about turning that into like our student section, because the fence is gonna be right there up against that. So that'd be our right field lounge for our student section. Hey, you may block that off where they can come in and park and,
Yeah.
you know, if they wanna bring a flatbed trailer, bring a grill out before the games and stuff. Because we kinda did that the last series at Option. We played Hartselle. We had to play it at Bud McCarty at the high school. So they blocked Hell Street off in the outfield. We had people bring flatbed trailers, they were grilling. I mean, we had kids out the road throwing baseball. It was neat. It was awesome. And I want to do that here.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll have youth nights. We'll have things like that for the little kids to come. I want alumni night. I want all three schools alumni for baseball players, because there's quality baseball played in the Gadsden City system for quite a while.
It has.
And I want those guys to come back. I want them to feel like they're a part of this program, because their school is part of this program.
Right.
So I want to do stuff like that as well.
Yeah, that's important that you say that, bringing the alumni back from all three schools, because I don't think anything really has been done to recognize those guys that played, and I think that'll be a huge help to the
I
program.
mean, you think about it. You think of the Dennis Jones, you think of the Motorboats, you think of the Rudolphs. I mean,
Yeah.
that's freaking Etowah County history.
Yeah.
That's Gadsden City High School baseball. I mean, they're that going. I mean, know what I'm trying to say? They're like the kings of it.
Right.
I mean, I could go on and on. And the Tommy Stanleys, you know, Gadsden High had great teams. Soundsman had great teams in the 70s when Coach Musket was there. And we want that history. We want that. That's part of the legacy of this program.
Right.
So we want to add to that legacy with what we do.
Yep. All right. Well, Coach, closing out this interview, tell us what you would like to see from the team in your first season, and what would, in your eyes, what you would call a successful first season here.
That they grew as young men. That's the key. And I actually told a parent that. I'm kind of big on that. I'm more worried about 15 years from now, are they a great husband? Are they a great father? Are they a great brother?
Right.
That's, at the end of the day, coaching is 50%, 50-50. It's 50% that, it's 50% X's and O's.
Right.
But if we can get them to buy into being a great husband, great father, great sibling, that other aspect takes care of that. And us playing and understanding that our opponent's faceless, and the scoreboard does not dictate our effort and attitude. We're going to control the controllables, effort and attitude.
All right. Cool. Coach, I appreciate it. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
We look forward to some big things from the Titan program this
We're
year.
fired up. Go Titans.